Hey everyone, it's Kathy.
And Paul here with iDulting.
We're here to help you navigate the crazy world of adulting.
Because let's be real, it's a wild ride. We'll be dropping tips, sharing stories,
And maybe even spilling some embarrassing secrets along the way.
so get comfortable, grab your favorite drink, get ready to laugh, learn, and level up your adulting game. This is iDulting. Don't forget to like, follow, and or subscribe, and share this podcast. Head over to iDulting.com for more information and to submit questions for us about iDulting.
And maybe even pick up some of our new merchandise. And if you know any fellow adults who need some guidance, send them our way.
Welcome to this episode. This and all our episodes contain dynamically inserted advertisements to help us pay the bills. Thanks for listening.
So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about iDults at home. We're going to share some fair expectations for young adults living or visiting their homes.
It's important for both the adult and their parents to strike a balance between providing support and fostering independence when young adult is living at home or visiting home. I want to be honest with this. Kathy and I struggle with this sometimes.
With them visiting or living, or both.
With our role, we tend to do too much for our children. We believe we might have kind of stifled them a little bit, and we're trying to make it right.
So here are some fair expectations if you're living at home or staying at home for an extended period of time.
Financial contributions, even a small amount contributing to the household expenses like rent, mortgage payment, utilities, or groceries is absolutely reasonable. This is going to help the adult understand the financial realities of independent living. For example, in our house, our children don't have to pay rent if they're actively involved in school on a full-time basis, not a part-time basis, but like if they're full-time in school, they don't have to pay rent.
But when they are not in school any longer and they still want to live at home so they can save money, they will be expected to pay a small contribution towards the household expenses.
We do expect that. Our most recent addition of this is as far as living at home, 25, 26-year-olds can expect that's where you're kind of expected to spread your wings and fly.
But there are also things like household responsibilities, participating in chores like cleaning, laundry, taking the garbage out, taking care of any pets, and meal prep. Those are all things that young adults are absolutely capable of doing, and they should be doing if they're living in a home.
I would add that they should do them automatically without being asked. I get so aggravated when I have to ask for the simplest things to get done.
Right. You do.
When I say aggravated, I mean aggravated, people.
Correct. Because we've been doing these for so long that having a little help really does make a difference.
Keeping their living spaces clean and tidy. Absolute expectation and something that they're capable of.
And something that you should be doing because when you do become independent and on your own, who wants to live in the hoarder house? Clean your stuff up.
Respecting shared spaces and contributing to the overall household maintenance.
And we're not saying you guys should be out there going, guess I should put a new roof on today. But blowing the leaves off the driveway, helping shovel snow in the winter, raking the lawn, those are all things that have to get done to maintain a home and a yard.
Depending on your situation, you might even get the opportunity to learn something about different professions or even make a little bit of cash if you talk to your parents on some of these chores. Doing your own and helping with laundry.
This is one thing that our kids are actually pretty good at. They don't do it as often as I would like, but the two that live at home and the two that don't live at home all do their own laundry, even though they still ask for help folding.
Another expectation is communication and respect. We're all adults at this point. That's right. All of ours went over the finish line, people. We won the race. They all made it alive.
Things like communicating their schedules and whereabouts. Not that we need to know where they are every minute of the day. In fact, I don't want to know most of the time. Knowing their work schedules, when they'll be available, when they need to get places, that's an important part of living with other people.
Helps the machine run smoother. Respecting household rules and boundaries. Very important for a communal group of adults to get along and not an unrealistic expectation.
No, and it doesn't even have to pertain just to your parents. When you live somewhere and you have roommates, there are going to be some household rules and some boundaries that you should learn to follow and abide by.
Being considerate of other family members' needs and privacy. A great example is there's doors on bedrooms for a reason.
And some people do have to get up early in the morning. So if you're downstairs at 2 a.m. making a lot of noise, it's really hard when you wake someone up at 2 for them to get up at 4:30.
Another expectation is progress towards independence.
Demonstrating progress towards financial and personal independence. That means having a job, paying your bills, the ones you have to pay. Obviously, in our case, not rent or utilities, but things like gas for your car, gifts for Christmas, just free spending. That's all on you as an adult.
Clothes.
Clothes, right? Unless they're gifts. If you want something new to wear, go to the store and buy it.
How about food?
I think food that's dinner food, like we're having dinner, so that's fine. They are more than welcome to always have dinner with us. The quick run to the quick store or the fast food restaurant, also on them.
Right.
And start a savings account if you haven't, and you should have. If you don't have a savings account and you are over the age of 18, get a savings account. You're saving money so that you can go out and live your life.
Actively pursuing education, employment, or other goals. We've been fortunate. Our four are all actively pursuing something.
They are, and that's all we want is for them to have a great life and be successful. So if it's time to get a job, go get yourself a job. If you're in school, figure out what you want to do and pursue it. Give it 110%. And if you have some other goals, like we have a young adult who, well, mid-adult, I guess, who actively wanted to learn rock climbing. So what did she do? She tried it. She liked it. She joined a group that does rock climbing. She's pursuing that goal.
Communication and open conversations about your plans for moving out.
Yeah, don't just come home and say, hey, I'm moving out tomorrow.
Kudos to our oldest, who stayed for a while and saved, but she was very open with us about her plans for moving out and the reason she was staying.
Her plan was to save as much as she could, and then when her job took her to a new location, she'd have the money to move out, have her deposit, buy furniture, do all the things you do when you get your own place.
Absolutely. Another expectation is reasonable curfew/quiet hours.
Depending on the family situation, reasonable curfews or quiet hours are expected. Like I said earlier, if someone has to get up, it's really hard to get up when you get woken up 4 times a night.
Now, I talk a lot about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day, but it seems the older I get, the earlier it gets late. Kudos to my parents for putting up with my nonsense because I was a night owl and worked 7 years on the night shift.
Yeah, but you weren't at home waking them up throughout the night. You were gone before they went to bed and getting home when they were already up and leaving.
That's true.
Don't invite or bring others over without first asking. Remember that you live with other people. If I want to sit around in my pajamas at 5:30, I should be able to without having surprise visitors walk in.
It also makes meals very difficult to just have somebody else pop in.
Yeah, and I'm the mom that cooks for everyone, so I get a little anxious and frustrated when I'm not expecting to have 9 for dinner. I'm expecting 3.
Another expectation, don't assume your parents are going to do things for you.
That's part of being an adult. If you weren't expecting to be home for dinner and your parents made plans, guess what? As an adult, you happen to be home, make yourself some dinner. If you need to get somewhere and don't have a ride, your parents are out and have plans, or your family's out, or your roommates are out, figure out a way to get there. This is part of being an adult, is figuring things out and doing them yourself.
I'm going to add to the list, this totally ad lib, people. I'm going to say, do your best not to be snarky about things. If you're staying at home, you're over the legal adult age, appreciate what you have and don't get snarky about stuff. Your parents who are letting you stay there have your best interest in mind. They want the best for you. And honestly, at least in my case, I'm just trying to help and make it so you don't make some of the mistakes I made.
Now, if you're visiting home and it's just a short stay, so you are already independent, live on your own, and you're coming home for a vacation or a holiday, and you're going to be there a short while, please remember that communication is key. Letting people know when you're coming and when you're leaving and how you're getting to and from the places that you need to get, like the airport or the train station, or if you're just driving. And remember, don't overstay. You're welcome.
I think that communication thing would work for the extended stay too. I don't think it's over the top.
No, it's not. I'm just saying that when people are hosting you, they're expecting you to come on a certain day at a certain time, and they expect you for a certain amount of time. And then they get back to their regular routine because typically when you're hosting someone, you change your schedule to accommodate more time with them.
I understand. And what I'm saying though, for at home adults, that communication part, I think you misinterpret as your parents micromanaging or overwatching or stalking you when really they're just, at least in our case, we're just looking for about what time you're coming and going so you don't get a face full of bear spray.
And remember, respect house rules. Your parents' rules are their rules. It's their home. Be mindful of noise levels in shared spaces and adhere to established household rules.
Helpfulness is huge during those short stays. It makes it more memorable for the host and also builds memories for everybody involved. Helping with meal preparation or cleanup, I can tell you anytime I went somewhere, I would help clean up. I would help break down. Sometimes I would even help cook and learn new ways to do stuff.
Just keep your stuff tidy and express gratitude for their hospitality. Don't ever leave a place you went to visit, especially family, and not say thanks for having me.
Limit your expectations of full-time hosting. In other words, don't think that you're going to come home, visit your parents, and they're going to be able to drop everything to cater to your needs, wants, and travel and everything else. The visiting adult should be expected to occupy some of their own time. This goes also if it's other family. It could be a brother coming to visit, a sister coming to visit. You can't just pop by somebody's house and hijack their life. It doesn't work. Family time is important, but so is giving the parents or whoever the host is some downtime.
And remember, as a general rule, leave the place better than you found it. That doesn't really mean better than you found it. If you come to visit and some room is sparkling and beautiful, just make sure you don't leave a mess behind.
But if you want to come to our house and leave us with a third floor on your way out, that'd be cool. Some general principles to remember for all house guests and people living at home. Open communications is important. Establish clear expectations through open and honest communication. Regularly discuss any concerns or changes.
Mutual respect. Treat each other with respect and understanding. Acknowledge that everyone's needs and perspectives are valid.
That perspectives one is sometimes difficult for me.
Because you only see things your way.
Well, my way is the right way, but you're right. It's hard for me to suddenly be 19 again and looking at the world through those eyes.
No, but
And I was perfect.
when you pause and think back to when you were 18, 19, 20, 21, I'll bet you weren't as perfect as you think.
I was more perfect than I am now.
So no, he wasn't.
Oh, ouch. Flexibility. Be willing to adjust expectations as circumstances change. Recognize that young adults are still developing and learning. So give yourself a little bit of grace and recognize that your parents have kind of become a little set in their ways and it takes a little bit longer for them to adjust to the new way of doing things.
Focus on transition. The goal here should be for young adults to transition to independence. The goal for parents should be guidance and encouragement. Just remember, if they do everything for you, you're becoming dependent, not independent.
That one's very difficult for me. The focus on transition and letting our children explore and make those. I don't know when I became that parent, but that one's kind of hard for me.
Because you think that they have the experience and knowledge of a 54-year-old, not an 18 or 19-year-old.
That's true. Be fair. Make sure that your expectations are fair and reasonable for all parties involved. By setting fair expectations and maintaining open communication, families can create a positive and supportive environment for young adults living at home or visiting home.
We've probably talked about many of these things on many episodes, but we're going to go over how some things can help you to become a more independent adult, even though you're living at home.
Here's a breakdown of the strategies, and we have talked about most of these, but they keep coming back up in conversations with people, our own adults and others, because we do talk to people. We're not hermits, but we hear things like, how do I adult? How do I do this? We also hear adulting sucks and all sorts of things. But these steps keep coming up again and again. First, financial independence is important. So you want to establish secure, stable income, a regular full-time income. Wow, is that a challenge today? You go for these, I watch it. These kids are going for interviews. They're going for jobs. Oh, yeah, it's full-time, blah, blah, blah. 20 hours later, they're like, oh, we can only give you 24 hours a week. It's strange in the entry-level market, very strange. Prioritize finding and maintaining consistent employment. If, for example, you can only find a part-time job, 2 part-time jobs equals 1 full-time job. Like, don't limit yourself to, I got a job. Explore opportunities for career advancement or skill development.
Create a budget. Track your income and your expenses to understand your financial habits. Establish an emergency fund. That is always a priority for us. And set financial goals, such as saving for future housing or an education or car. Whatever you're saving for, set that goal, put some money away until you reach your goal.
Contribute to household expenses without being held hostage. Offer to pay rent, utilities, or grocery costs, even if it's a small contribution. What it does is it shows that you're putting skin in the game. You're becoming owner of your own adult life. It fosters a sense of responsibility and ownership.
Build credit. Obtain a secured credit card or become an authorized user to establish a credit history. Practice responsible credit card usage, meaning use it for small things, pay it off at the end of every month. Each month you do this, you won't have a balance, you won't be under someone's thumb, and you'll be building credit.
Open, and if you haven't done already, open a savings account, start a savings account for future goals, and then save, save, save. Pay yourself first. At least 10% of every paycheck should go right into that savings. It helps you prevent getting taken by the Jersey Devil when you're in the Pine Barrens all by yourself waiting for a tow truck.
So living at home also gives you the ability to practice some life skills. You can master household chores. You can become proficient in cooking, cleaning, laundry, and basic home maintenance. Complete chores and mundane maintenance tasks that you notice without having to be asked. It prepares you for adulthood and independent living.
Develop transportation independence. I can't even bring this up on this episode. We should tell our car stories. Oh, we did. Obtain a driver's license and reliable transportation with oil in it. Learn basic car maintenance skills like checking oil.
Enhance your problem-solving abilities.
Like checking oil.
Learn to troubleshoot common household issues, unclog a drain, change a light bulb. These are easy things that you guys can do. And develop resourcefulness in finding solutions to everyday problems. Like we've said a multitude of times, think outside the box, people. Figure it out.
Time management. One of my favorite things. I'm a list builder. Learn how to effectively manage your time. That doesn't mean you have to manage it down to the minute. In fact, I would recommend leaving some open space in that calendar for overruns and everything like that. However, don't leave yourself too much open time because we all know idle time is the devil's playground.
Personal and emotional independence. Establish boundaries. Communicate personal boundaries to family members. Assert your need and preferences respectfully.
And understand when it comes to boundaries, they're two-way. The person you're talking to, whether it's a family member or friend, also has boundaries. And they would appreciate it if They got to discuss their boundaries and you respected theirs the same as you want them to respect yours. Develop emotional regulation and resilience. That's important that you learn healthy coping mechanisms for stress and difficult emotions. I can't tell you the amount of times we see people just inappropriately acting out in public these days and having a tough day. I get it and I feel for them, but holy cow, man. There needs to be a big cup of suck it up and do your stuff. Practice self-care and emotional awareness. Huge at stress relief. And emotional awareness, you just take out your wheel of emotions and figure out how you're doing that day.
Pursue personal interests. Engage in hobbies, activities, and social connections outside of your family. Maintain a sense of individuality and autonomy. Meaning, if you're living at home and you're working and you're going to school, and I know that takes up a lot of time, find time, because your life will only get busier, to explore some things that you really, truly enjoy.
Also, when you're doing all those things and you're living at home, don't just isolate in your bedroom or whatever else. Make time to communicate with the other people in the house, just about life in general. Communication's a good thing.
Make independent decisions. Practice making decisions for yourself. You don't need to ask permission for everything. You're an actual adult. But I would recommend things that are life-changing or body-altering be discussed before you run out and do them.
Increase self-resilience. Embrace the suck and avoid being overly dependent on parents for daily tasks. Sometimes adulting is hard, mundane, heavy, feels like it's not worth it. Those are the days you just got to kick yourself in the butt and do what you got to do.
Plan for the future. Establish a realistic timeline for moving out. Create a plan with specific steps and deadlines. Pretty much don't get frustrated and angry or in an argument and be jumping at the I'm moving out tomorrow. Set a goal. So essentially, plan on moving out, figure out how much you're going to need to do so, how you're going to be successful at it, and work towards that goal.
To work towards that goal, you have to research your housing options. For example, are you going to get an apartment? You're going to get a house? What kind of living arrangements are you going to have? Are you going to have roommates? Understand the costs and responsibilities involved. There's more cost than just rent. Like, it's great to say, okay, $1,200 for an apartment. I can afford that. Yeah, but
there's also insurance, utilities, internet, electric, getting to and from, car maintenance, cell phone bills. There's so many more expenses than people realize when they just see a price on a rent, food.
And did you mention auto insurance? Like, when you move out, you should have your own auto insurance. Like, there's so many different things that you need to think about. I recommend that you sit down and make a list of all of them and sit with the adult of the house, a parent or a friend that's out already doing this on their own, and see how your list compares to what it is out there. You want to get as much information as you can when you're deciding this before you make the commitment.
And that plays along with developing a support network. So build strong relationships with friends and mentors and seek guidance from trusted individuals. Look at people who you admire and the lives they're living and ask them.
So to review some of the key principles, a proactive approach. You want to take initiative in developing independent skills in all areas of your life. Don't wait for opportunities to arise. Create them. Gradual transition. Independence is a process, not an overnight achievement. You're not going to wake up tomorrow, be like, I'm going to move out and I'm in the 8th grade. I can do that and make it. It's hard. There's a lot to learn. It's a huge task to take on your own. So take the time so you can gradually transition. Celebrate the small victories along the way and learn from setbacks. Remember, the only failures are out there when you quit. Don't quit. Just learn from it and keep moving forward.
Maintain open and honest communication with your family members, friends, roommates, and discuss your goals and challenges. They may have some great insights or advice for you.
By implementing these strategies, adults can effectively navigate the transition to full independence while still benefiting from the support of living at home. There's so much, I'm sure, that could be added to this. Thank you for listening. Feel free to reach out to us at iDulting.com, and you can get there. There's a comment section, or you can email us.
Just remember, you've got this, adults. Keep your head up, your spirits high, and keep adulting with us. Go forth and conquer the world, or at least your to-do list.
And don't forget to like, follow, and or subscribe. Tell your friends, share the podcast, and head over to iDulting.com for more information and to connect with us. See you on the next episode. Be safe.